Hello class 9th student, this is our chapter number 1 from our book Moments, The Lost Child, written by Mulkraj Anand. The Lost Child is the story of a small child who gets lost in a fair. He had gone with his parents to the fair but loses them when he gets engrossed in looking at a roundabout swing. Engrossed mean he was busy and he was too excited looking at a roundabout swing. The story highlights the bond of love and affection that the child shares with his parents. Before losing them, he had been demanding different things like sweets, balloons, flowers, swings, etc. Once he loses them, he is picked by a stranger. The stranger tries to quieten the child by offering him all these things that he had demanded from his parents, but child does not want them anymore. He wants his parents first. So what happened when the child goes to fair? He lost over there. He was picked up by a stranger. Let's start our story with our first topic, that is the child goes to the fair. Okay, this is the first thing when the child was going to the fair with his parents. It was the spring fair. All the people were going to it. Some walked, some rode on horses, some in bullock carts. The little child ran with his parents. He was overjoyed. When he remained behind, his father asked him to come. Now, this is the time of spring when this fair was going. All the peoples who were going to the fair, how they were going? They are going to the fair by walking. Someone riding on their horses, some are going with the help of bullock carts. The child ran with his parents. He was overjoyed. He was very happy to go to the fair. When he remained behind, his father asked him to come. When the child was remained behind, he was not with his parents. His father was saying him, okay son, come with us, don't be left behind. Like these kinds of words were said by his father. He remained behind to see the toys in the shops. The little boy wanted the toys, but his father couldn't buy it. So they asked him to look at other things. Now what happened? When he reaches over there, he was looking toward the shops, the shop of toys. He was demanding the toy from his father, but what his father was saying that no, we are not going to buy the toys. Instead of doing this thing, you can do one more thing, that you can look at other things, because these toys are not the things that we are going to buy for you. Now, after getting attracted with the toy, there are so many things with which the boy get attracted. Okay, now the next thing that we are going to read here is the things that attract the child. It was the season of mustard flowering. The fields looked gold with it. The dragonflies were fluttering over the mustard flowers. Now, as it was the spring season, so in all the fields there were so many plants of mustard, and these mustards have yellow flowers on it. And how it looks like? It looks like a gold. Over the field there were dragonflies which were flying here and there on the mustard flowers. The child tried to catch one of them, but he was called by his mother. He ran gaily towards his parents. What happened when the child was trying to catch the dragonfly? His mother called him. And what was the reaction of the child? He ran gaily towards his parents. Means he ran quickly towards his parents. He heard the dove cooing he had picked up. When his mother called, he looked towards a dove. A dove, a bird, which is cooing, playing some kind of music. Okay, singing birds in the morning, how the birds were doing. The same thing the dove, the bird was doing. So when his mother called him, he ran towards there and he picked up some of the petals in the groove. Then he also ran round the banyan tree, but again he was called by his parents. The child was so excited that he collected some of the petals of the groove, means some of the petals of the flowers which were falling down from the trees. And then when he was going towards his parent, he ran around the banyan tree. He take a round around the banyan tree, and then again his mother, his parents, his father called him. Now after happening all these things, the child reaches to the fair. Means first he was on the way to the fair, he was going there. What he saw that people are going to the fair by walking, by their horses, by the bullock carts, okay. And when he was on the way to the fair, he saw the mustard fields. He see the bird dove is singing, cooning over there. He collected some of the flowers. Some dragonflies were there. So many things he saw when he was going towards the fair. Now this is when the child reaches to the fair. Soon the child reached the fair. He heard a sweet meat seller calling gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi. When he reaches there, the first thing he saw over there that there is a sweet seller. Sweet seller who is selling gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi. The sweet shop was greatly decorated with different sweets. The sweet shop which was there on the way inside the fair, the sweet shop was decorated very greatly. Seeing the sweets, the child's mouth watered. When he saw the sweets, his mouth get watered. He said his parents. What he said? He said, I want the barfi. Barfi was his favorite sweet. He asked his parents that, Father, Mother, I want barfi. Because barfi was his favorite sweet. But his saying so was unheeded. When the child saying that, Mother, Father, I want barfi, his saying was unheeded. It was like parents didn't seem that they didn't heard him. They didn't listen it. They didn't say anything to the child. When the child went ahead, his parents, he heard a flower seller. Okay, then parents refuses that we are not going to buy barfi for you from the sweet shop. Then what happened? The child moved ahead with his parents. He heard a flower seller saying, a garland of gulmohar. The child went to the flower basket. He wanted a garland, but he knew his parents would refuse to buy him that. When they moved ahead, what he saw that there is a flower seller who was selling a garland of flower. This garland of flower is made up of which flower? Gulmohar. The child went to the basket, near the basket of the flower. Okay, he want a garland, but he knew that if he says this thing to the parents that he want a garland, of course his parents are going to refuse it again. So he had balloons of various colors, and then he moved again forward. What he saw that there is balloons of various colors. The child knew his parents would not buy him a balloon. Now he want balloons. The balloons which he saw different colors, he want to some balloons, but he knew one thing that again the parents are not going to buy him any of the balloon. So he walked on. He walked on with his parents. Then what he saw a snake charmer over there with his snake. He was playing a flute to a snake. He went near the snake charmer, but he knew that his parents had asked him not to hear such music. Then he saw snake charmer. What the snake charmer was doing? Snake charmer was playing his flute in front of a snake. He wants to listen this music, but he knew one thing. What his parents said to him. His parents said that don't listen or don't hear such kind of music. So what happened? He went ahead. He went ahead from that place. Then he saw a merry-go-round. Now, this is the final turn when he saw a merry-go-round, a big wheel over there, on which there are so many kinds of uh, statues of horses, of other animals were there. That when the child saw this merry-go-round, what he saw that so many men's, women's, children, etc. were enjoying a ride on it. He saw that so many people were there, they were enjoying this ride. Now the child was so excited that he said to his parents that what he said, the child called, I want to go on the roundabout. I want to go on the roundabout. Please, father, mother. He was so excited that he can't control himself, and he was saying to his parents that I want to go on this roundabout. But there was no reply. The child had been lost. When he looked back, when he wants to say this thing to his parents, when he looked back, what he saw that there were no one. His parents were not behind him. And at that moment, he knew that he was lost. The child in a very bad shape. Now here we will discuss what happened to the child when he lost in the fair. His condition was very critical. Critical means the condition was not good. He was feeling very bad because he was lost in the fair. He is unable to find his parents. A full deep cry rose with the child's deep throat. He just cried in a loud voice. He cried, Mother, Father. Tears rolled down his eyes. He cried and ran to and fro. The child was crying so deeply that what he was doing when he was crying, he was running towards, he was running forward, he was running there, he was running here, but he was unable to find his parents. But he couldn't see his parents. Neither he was unable to find his parents, neither he was able to see them. Then what happened? People laughed and talked. He saw that nobody is listening to his voice. They were laughing, they were talking, but no one is taking any kind of attention towards the child. Then what happened? Then he ran to a shrine. Then he ran to a shrine means ran towards a temple. There was this temple, there was a big crowd over there. So many people were there. He dodged them. He goes here, there, from between their legs in a hope that his parents could be there in the shrine. But he was unable to find his parents because there is a kind of hustle over there. People were pushing each other with their shoulders, with their elbows, so that they can go into the shrine. And this child who was lost is unable to find his parents. The child went a bit ahead between the people's feet. What he was doing? He was trying to go forward. How he was going forward? Between the people's feet. But he was pushed back. What the people were doing? They pushing him back. A man heard his cry. Finally, a man heard his cry. He lifted him up in his arm. And this man lifted this child in his arms. Now what happened when the man lifted the child on his arms? Okay. Man tries to locate the child's parents. Now this man take the full responsibility to locate the child's parents. That he wants to find where his parents were. Now, what happened? The man asked the child how he got there. He asked few questions to him. That how you come over here, with whom? Okay. He also asked him the names of his parents. He asked, what is the name of your parents? But the child only said, I want my father. I want my mother. The child is unable to give any answer. He was just crying and crying. And what he was saying? He was saying that I want my father. I want my mother. The man took the child to the merry-go-round. Now, first, what happened when he enters into the fair? First he goes where? He goes to a sweet shop, then to a garland, then to a snake charmer, then to the balloons, then to the merry-go-round where he lost. Okay, now this man took the child to the merry-go-round. He asked him if he wanted to ride on the horse, but the child said only that he wanted his mother. Child refused at once and he was saying, "No, I want my mother, I want my father." Then the man asked him if he would take a balloon. He asked, "Do you want a balloon?" But the child again sobbed and sobbed. He was crying and crying. And he was saying, "No, I want my father, I want my mother only." Now, then the man took the child to the flower seller. Okay, where he took him? He took him to the flower seller. And he asked, what he asked? He asked him if he would like to put a flower garland round his neck. The child turned his nose. He only said, "I want my mother, I want my father." Then the man asked him which sweet he would like. Now, first he take the child to the flower seller and he was saying that, "Do you want a garland of flowers round your neck?" Again, the child refused. He turned his nose from the flowers and what he was saying to the man, he was saying, "No, I just want my mother, I just want my father." Now, the man took him to the sweet shop. He was saying, "Which sweet do you want to eat? Do you want to eat rasgulla, barfi, jalebi, any of the sweets?" And then there is again one thing from the child. What he was saying, the child turned his face again and he only said, "I want my mother, I want my father." This is the ending of the story. We didn't know what happened to the child, whether he found his parents or not. But only one thing was there, the child was lost in the fear. The things that he wants from his parents and the things which were not provided by his parents were again come to the boy by a strange person. But this time he refuses all the things. He does not want any of the things. Why? Because he just wants his parents. He just wants his mother. He just wants his father. With this chapter is finished. Complete all the question and answers in your rough copy from your NCERT book. Thank you and have a nice day.